Hey everyone, welcome back to Millennial Investments for today's top 10 performing mid-cap stocks. But before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe if you find any of this information beneficial whatsoever, and also hit that notification bell if you would to receive future notifications about trade reviews and recaps such as this one. To start it off, we're going to be looking at WKHS, Workhorse, which is currently down pretty well in a great buy zone. I've been analyzing this stock over the past few days based on the news that the USPS released that they're basically not awarding the bid to Workhorse, which was a highly expected government contract that the company was going to win. It's actually going back to Oshkosh or something like that, but I just know Workhorse is not winning it. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the end of the world for Workhorse. I just know a lot of expectations were behind that contract. There's so much space in the EV world that Workhorse can capitalize on. So many other government contracts. So looking at it from that pullback, as you can see, we have found support around the 1514, and it's currently having issues getting above that 1880 level that was previously support here, but now it's playing a part as resistance. So great buy zone to load up on the stock if you missed all this price action up here. Longer term, of course, hold to allow the company to do what it needs to do to replenish what was lost and losing that contract. So it's currently up 24% though. Currently sitting at 1711. I think it closed around 1887. So currently down after hours, but like I said, great buy zone even at these $17 levels. Maybe you can recatch it around the 1514. If it does go back to those levels, not saying that it will, but if it does, make sure we find strong support there before you buy into it and you end up and it breaks that support and you end up losing money. So just make sure we hit those 1514 price levels again and bounce to the upside moving forward. Of course, our next stock, everybody has a microscope on, but it's one of our top performing mid caps. I'm not one to really harp on it. Yesterday around 3:30 Central Time, 4 o'clock, we saw GME, AMC, Nokia, SNDL, BBBY, BB, KOSS, all of them just launched and took off. GME actually halted about twice yesterday's after hours. After hitting about $200, it was up 200%. Today, at the end of today's session, is currently closing around 108 and sitting around 105. So I could expect people are probably trying to load up here, thinking that it's going to continue. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I don't want to speculate on these stocks that we're looking at here. But as always, I still do my key analysis and find my key points in these trades, because that's what we're here for. Unfortunately, I need to do that. So with this stock, and it's so wild, it's hard to be sure about this, but a clear level we need to get above that acted as support before and didn't now is this 113.69 before we do expect this to continue moving higher. And then another level to pay attention to is the 159 levels. We need to stay above that. So if anything, this could potentially be a buy zone if we don't break down here. I'm not saying to buy this stock based on what's going on behind it and based on what's happened before. I'm just pointing out the key levels that you may want to pay attention to. Even if you were to buy it around the $76 level, it's much better than buying it at 103. But I want to provide this information so that all investors are safe that are watching this video, and I can at least say I gave my key analysis on it moving forward, to help you out. Watch these three levels. If you need to refer back to this video later to refer to these three levels, they are important. If we break below the 76.54, it's going right back to 49.88, which is almost where it started before the breakout yesterday happened. Moving forward though, GIL broke out to $31. Let me see where it topped out at, actually, to be more precise. Somewhere around the 31.40. It's currently sitting at 31.30. Key level we want to look for support at around is somewhere actually right around here, due to the fact that it ran into it so many times, and before it gapped up here, it found support and launched. So something to watch there with that one. I'm going to look back a little bit and see how it's reacted to that price action. Once again, what played resistance here, did find support, but broke down once it lost that support level, and it dropped off here in March. Of course, everything dropped off in March, but since then it has regained its pre-pandemic levels and is currently above those levels. So another level I'm going to point out here is this 3026 level, which you see it bounce right back off of as well, and also played as a level of support in the past for the stock, and resistance before. So key levels here to watch out for. I would call that your buy zone if you do look for an entry, as long as we stay above that 2830. And even if it breaks down below that level, let's see where we land right about here around the $25 price level if it breaks to 2830. But if it launches off that 2830, I push out a buy into the stock. And then key levels to watch out in resistance is the previous levels of support before it gapped down there, which I'm not aware of why it gapped down, and I'm not going to speculate what happened, but I'm just going to point out that, you know, the stock needs to break through that 34.47, and it, as you can see, was previously a strong level of resistance before, and once it did break out above it, it found strong support. So that'll be our midline, actually, and then our top line is going to be up here. I'm actually going to be a little bit more realistic to not give too many high hopes, but just things to pay attention to going forward. So 34.37 if it's able to break above the 30.26. Moving forward though, FTI looks like we are sitting at 850. Key level of resistance too instantly jumped out at me once I started looking at this stock. I'm going to put our level right here. If I can get it there, sorry, 856 is a key level. It needs to break above and continue moving higher. I do see a longer term trend on going back to October forming here. Looks like we may be creating a compression zone if we aren't able to break above the 850. So see if it bounces back down for a potential re-entry around the 7 to 750 price levels, potentially 775 if it even goes that low. Or it could break out tomorrow and above these levels, and if it does, then find support above the 856. Confirmations at least 3 hours to be safe, unless it just explodes on you. Even if it explodes on you, we still have to retest these levels right here, and it's based off of this gap down around the 1017 before we expect it to move any higher than where it is currently at. So something to pay attention to going into tomorrow. Next one we're going to look at is SEAS. Currently broke out at its peak around the $50 level before finding some slight resistance. I'm not going to make that my top line resistance until I confirm how it's reacted before. So looking at the trade though, I actually want to move that previous level of resistance that we broke out above today and see how it correlates. So that's around the 35.79. It was able to retest that today and broke out pretty well, as you can see. And that's why we're retesting that $50 price level. I don't think the stock has ever traded at these price levels. Let me look. No, it has broke above the 35, but found issues finding support above it before breaking down. So it is a key level to pay attention to with this strong breakout to the upside now, is if we find that support that we've been waiting on above the 35.79 to continue trading in this price range moving forward. The RVLV, as you can see, fairly new stock, came out, IPO'd in the market around June 2019. Let's see how it reacts to these support levels. Currently trading below that around 4012 or 4019. We need it above 4022. Otherwise, this could drop right back down. Key support levels to watch for would be right here. And let me turn that green around the 3116, just because it's so volatile. I'm not saying that's where it's gonna. Oh well, I am looking at it on the 1 week, excuse me, but it still plays a part here, just as strongly as I expected. Actually adjust that to the 32 levels, and which actually played support before. So we could bounce back down and churn here if we find that strong support above 32.83. See if you can find an entry if the support is confirmed there, and then retest those $40 moving forward. Next stock we're going to look at is PUBM. Fairly new stock as well, came out in December of 2020. I don't like to speculate on stocks that are fairly new because we don't have previous historical charts to base our price points off of. But one that stands out to me is the 56.77. And if we can find support here, then that's the confirmation moving higher to potentially retest. I want to use the rejection line in this analysis. Like I said, I typically do not like doing stocks like this that are fairly new, but it's on the list, so I have to do what I have to do. But anyways, let's see if we bounce back to the 56.77 and continue moving higher and keep trading at these price points. If it breaks below that, I see a support level that does stand out to me, and it's right here. It's actually where it gapped up, bounced off of, around the 43. So to make this a little bit better, this is our baseline right here that we're going to base it off of, and this is our top line, our midline resistance that we're looking at, and then we'll go ahead and put a gauge for our top line breakout around the $74 price range, and we'll turn that red. We'll review these again to catch up. Another one that broke out is ADR or ARD, excuse me. After it retested these levels, actually right here, it seems like the breakout was launched after finding strong resistance, and that's where it churned and broke out to the 25.20, and that's somewhere around the 1987. Let's see how this 2025 has correlated with the stock previously in historic charts, and I'm going to readjust it based off of previous resistance that we ran into. Get rid of my line if it'll let me. It's not letting me do it. There we go. All right, and I'm going to readjust that, like I said, to these levels around the 24.96 if it'll stick for me. 24.54. Currently trading above it after hours, so let's see how it reacts going into market open tomorrow. And if we find that support that I'm looking for around the 1987, if it goes back down, that's fine. Just better re-entry point off of the news, but make sure that it's actually staying above those levels. Next stock we're gonna review is DSS. Broke out. Is this today? January 25th. We're looking at the weekly. I'm sorry. Let me go a little bit more in depth so we can identify some levels here and where it's currently trading at. And one thing that sticks out to me is this $84 price level. It's currently trading above it, but was rejected and came back below it before moving higher after hours. So let's see if it taps it going into tomorrow. It's Dillards, of course, so retail. I'm not sure what Dillards is doing any differently than they were before, after the pandemic hit. But I do want to adjust this a little bit more, just so we're a little bit accurate. That's why I keep adjusting this, because I want to see where the price action has been tapped the most to determine my levels of resistance, my key levels of support or previous resistance is what I mean by that. So if it will stick somewhere around there is fine with me. Pretty comfortable. It's had issues holding above 80.34, and as you can see, it's churning, but it's finding strong support at those levels. Last stock we're going to look at is ALXO. Currently trading at 82.78. Fairly new stock, just released somewhere around, July, and finding strong support around these levels here. If I can get it to work, we'll be good to go. Oh gosh, giving me a headache. It's right there. All right, cool. 74.03 is our support level to pay attention to, making sure the stock stays above that. $82 is a little bit high, $8 above, but this is a longer term stock. Based on its market cap and price point, I would look at this as a growth stock. Just be sure that we keep support above that 74.03 before buying into this at this time. I mean, it's currently up almost $40 since October. So be careful with it. Just make sure it keeps above those levels of support that we're identifying here. I can go a little bit more in depth and make sure that it's on point. And where we need to break above would be the 88.30 levels. So that's our midline resistance that I'm looking at. Key points to break out above, and right there around 97 is our top line. So this is our entry green zone. Hopefully you can catch it lower at the $74 price level to launch through this 88 price level of resistance, and then look for an exit around $88 to $97 unless you're looking to hold this long term. Other than that, that's it for our top 10 performers, our mid cap performers for the day. If you have any questions or comments, feedbacks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can also connect with us directly by reaching out to us on our social media networks that are listed in the description below. If you find any of this information beneficial in any kind of way, please be sure to like and subscribe to show your support, as well as share this video and hit that notification bell to receive future notifications about trade reviews and recaps such as this one. Other than that, I appreciate you for taking the time to review this with us in today's top 10 performing mid-cap stocks. We will be releasing one more video shortly after this one for our top 10 performing large cap stocks. And you can also check out videos for our top 10 micro stocks and our top 10 small stocks that we release shortly before this one. So thank you for watching. Other than that, I hope this was beneficial for you. I hope it kind of give you an idea of what to pay attention to if you have positions in these stocks, and I look forward to continue doing this with you moving forward. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day, have a good night actually, and good luck trading.